on suicides in the academic spaces.
Mm.
So you might have noticed it, especially after this post-mandal period. Many students, with the affirmative action which is getting implemented, many students are coming into academic spaces, and the suicides which are reported mostly from the these backward sections after SC/ST students. So how do you see this?
Well, there are two types of problems or two types of suicides here. One is that what happens in central universities and central institutes. Second type is the kind of suicides that take place in state educational institutions, the regional and state. Let me first say something about the central institutes. The central institutes, right from the beginning, were against reservations. So there is an anti-reservation cultural environment in central institutes. So particularly IITs, IIMs, All India Medical Institutes, they had a teaching staff, administrative staff, which was looking at the people from reservation background coming there as, unbecoming of them. They were not fit for those institutions. They were not meant for that. So naturally, when the young students enter those institutes, they begin to feel that they don't belong to that at all. Now that creates a psychological trauma. And the second one is the language, the environment. Of course, English is one key area where these rural students feel that they don't belong to that institutional culture. It is basically, English language. So they somehow, accommodated the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe for some time. In fact, scheduled tribe students did not have such a massive problem because most of them were coming from Northeast. And they had fairly good exposure to modern institutions, modern cultural values and English language. Whereas among scheduled castes, though there is some exposure because of the religious factor, some of the scheduled castes were converted Christians and so on, so they had some exposure to music, to English, to congregational gatherings and so on. So universities were one more institutional basis for them. So there was a problem, but the problem was not that serious. When it came to the OBC reservations, the problem was the OBC reservation came into the central institutions with a massive opposition. 1990, anti-mandal, the debate, the suicides. For the first time, the upper caste themselves started committing suicides. That if you give reservations, we have no option but commit suicides. So this, with all the rebuttals that they went, the OBC intellectuals were very few and far between. They could not handle the All India debate. From among SCs, there were some intellectuals. They supported this. And few people like me who were from OBCs were taking it on head on. But it was a torturous course. So somehow after the implementation started in 1995, the environment for OBCs were horrendous. The Dalits and the tribes were learning with a cultural adoption of hide and seek. But the OBCs could not even do that. They were educationally very backward because they came from, most of them, regional languages, and first generation into English environment. Technological background of that kind was lacking among them. Text reading was a problem. Teachers, empathy was not there. Even women teachers, upper caste women teachers who were around feminist movements did not treat them as good human beings who need to be trained here. So they went through a trauma, and that created, this kind of suicidal backdrop. Either you drop out, and you don't know, having come into a central university or central institute, which had created an aura of big hope, unlike the state universities or state institutions, that somebody has got a seat in IIT, somebody has got a seat in IIM, somebody has got a seat in Jawaharlal Nehru University or Delhi University or Hyderabad University. So it gave them an aura, and if you drop out from that situation and go back to your village, by then you would have lost out on some age. So all this created tremendous psychological pressure. It is in this pressure they normally, some of them chose suicide as the alternative. It's a painful course, in fact. Institutes like English and Foreign Language Institute, which later became. So, these are the spots of tension which these youth never could think of. So it is, in a way, of course, I consider that it is transitional for both the institution and the students. The transition was very fundamental. For example, you take the second mandal movement period. When the OBC reservation was opened up into central universities, they were saying that space is not enough. They were asking huge money. The OBC reservation doesn't require any new space. They were asking libraries space. They were asking classrooms. They were asking new buildings. As if these are a new human beings coming into these universities. So they got all that, but then they were not implementing the reservation, and there was this classroom humiliation. What do you know? Why did you come here? You should have been with sheep and goat. You should have been with... I faced that in the state institutions, schools and colleges. The names were a problem. So the Hindu name is seen as the norm. Either you should be a Sitaram, or you should be a Ganesh, or you should be something else and something else. Whereas in the multicultural society, at the lower down of the caste hierarchy, they have their own names, like mine, Ilaiah, Kumaraya, Yellaya, Malaya, Muttaya, in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka. So, these things became torturous. Very few people pick up the courage to face up to this kind of a situation. I'm in a way happy because this number is not huge. There is a huge lot of student group which is putting up with this pressure. Teachers are not at all friendly. Teachers are not at all understanding their background. They heckle them. I face that in the school. but
5 minutes.